Greetings, good afternoon, parents and everyone. Cheryl Phoenix here from the Black Child Agenda. Today's topic is about bullying because we have had an influx. There is an influx. Just this year, 2023, there has been an influx in the cases of bullying. And it's not bullying by year 11s and 12s who are being bullied. We're talking about year 7s that have just started school, fresh out of primary school, being bullied by older children in the school that they've just joined. And it makes me wonder, what's going on? And earlier this year, in February 2023, the Parliament decided that even racism and racist bullying in schools does not need to be recorded, does not need to be reported, and you can just basically do as you please. So the one thing that we have noticed as an organisation coming through from, I'm sure most of you saw the video around the girl at the school in, I can't remember, it will come to me, but basically she was outside school, black girl, being jumped on by the, what's the community? How do we pronounce the community? We used to say traveller, gypsy, traveller, Romani. I don't know. I can't remember. But please don't take offence. I don't mean any offence intended. But by that community outside the school, there was a whole uproar. It was all over social media. It was actually raised in Parliament, which I don't think they've done much about. But the fact of the matter is that there is a lot of racism in schools, and it's as though certain communities expect children to just suffer in silence without being told that they're playing the race card. And I don't know who invented this card, because I didn't, and I don't know any black person that did invent this race card that people keep banging on about. Anyway, and then they keep saying that we keep talking about bullying because it doesn't exist. If you're white, how the hell can you tell someone who is a victim of bullying that bullying doesn't exist because you don't face racism? Of bullying or racism. How can you say that you can tell us that it doesn't exist when you don't face racism? We're the ones on the receiving end of racism from the cradle to the grave. So how dare you tell us what racism is and what it looks like when we're the ones who feel it, know it and understand it and are the victims of it? Maybe if you spent that much time actually doing something to change the racist narrative that children who are innocent, who are in the education system face, then maybe we wouldn't have to keep talking. You wouldn't have to keep talking about this race card that you seem to think that people are playing. But anyway, I digress from my point. So when we talk about bullying, and racism is part of that, some forms of bullying, and this is actually a legal documentation that if anyone wants to go and find out, first of all, you can find it on our website, all the W's. It's up there, theblackchildagenda.org, and then you can go to the government website where the information is there for you to see. Some forms of bullying are illegal and should be reported to the police. These include racism, violence or assault, theft. Let me just go back to violence or assault. Do you know that I've had no less than 12 year 7 pupils now? Remember, these babies have just entered secondary school who have had their teeth kicked out of their head by bullies, broken arms by bullies, broken jaws by bullies, fractured ribs by bullies, called the N-word, the M-word, so many things, punched upside the head, bleeding ears, bleeding nose, black eyes, have to take time off of school because of racist bullying by other students. But yet nothing gets done and schools ignore it. And just bullying in itself, the violence that is going on in schools, which is being ignored by the senior leadership team and those that are paid to safeguard our children, is off the charts. Don't let me get started on the children who have special educational needs, who can't even comprehend what is happening to them, who are being dragged from under tables, who are taking things to try and actually cut their wrists. And don't get me started on cutting. That will be my next video. Anyway, violence or assault, theft, cyberbullying, repeated harassment or intimidation. For example, name calling, threats and abusive phone calls, emails or texts, and hate crimes. Let me just turn off my heater because it is nice and warm in here now. Now, with this, schools and the law, let me just give you some facts here, because I don't just speak because I like to speak. I speak and I always have receipts. I always come with facts. Similarly with the Windrush compensation stuff, where people are like, I know she doesn't know what she's talking about. Boom, bam, bam. I shut that down because I came with receipts. Let's do this again. By law, the state, not private schools, must have a behaviour policy in place that includes measures to prevent all forms of bullying amongst pupils. This policy is decided by the school and the governors, and if you have a PTA as well. All teachers, pupils and parents must be told what it is and have access via the school's website or be sent a copy by post or email. Most schools actually hide this, and there are a lot of schools that actually don't have anti-bullying policies, and there are even more schools that don't have racism policies on their websites or anything accessible. It's just okay, and you call yourself adults, and people leave their children in your care to be abused on a daily basis. Anyway, I continue. Schools must also follow the anti-discrimination laws. Have you heard about the Equalities Act 2010? Have you heard about Keeping Children Safe in Education 2023? It was updated, and there are so many others that are there. Even in the SEN Code of Practice, there are also discrimination laws, and the SEN Code of Practice in itself is something that all schools must follow and adhere to, which so many are not. Anyway, in Northern Ireland, it is actually different, and they have, which again is on our website, the different discrimination laws that schools must follow. However, in 2023, I've already said this, schools and the UK government decided that schools do not have to record or report racist bullying towards children. Imagine. And that's further reading if you want to go down there. However, what you also find is there's been many reports that have been done out there from mainstream media and press, also from different think tanks. We also had the Voice newspaper in partnership with Cambridge University that did a 3-year study of over 10,000 black people up and down the UK about racism and bullying, whether it be in schools, whether it be in the NHS, just literally from the cradle to the grave. And it was a damning report, but it actually highlighted if you are a melanated person, it would have been no surprise what was in there, and the fact that it is just our fault when we have to face and put up with bullying, first of all, and what will happen. What's going to happen from it? We have the Timson Review, the Lammy Review, all of these reviews and reports that have been written over the last God knows how many decades, and what happens with them. They spend millions of pounds and then they sit on a shelf with no recourse, nothing. No one can be held accountable because schools seem to feel that they can do what they want, but they can't. And there are laws that they're supposed to follow, and it's down to you and organisations like us to hold them to account. UK schools report over 60,000, I should have said UK students have reported over 60,000 incidents of racism in the last 3 years. So from 2020, we're now in 23 going into 60,000. But yet, black people are playing the race card. 1/3 of children face racism. Racism schools are denied, or they are denying the problem. They deny that there's a problem with racism in their schools. No one wants to be held accountable to what's going on. Reporting bullying in school in England is an important step to ensure the safety and well-being of students. Here are the steps. Talk to your child, contact the school, document the incidents and details, attend a meeting, wait for the school's response, follow up, check their anti-bullying policy, involve the local authority, get some support services, encourage open communication, mediation and conflict resolution, which one thing I've noticed that schools try to avoid. They don't want to do that. It's like as if they enjoy seeing your child suffer. And then if all else fails, like I've listed, you then take legal action. You can actually sue individual teaching staff as well, if necessary, if it comes to that, but you can sue the school as a whole. Now, it seems to be like as if schools enjoy parents being upset and they enjoy seeing children being hurt, because if you didn't, then why would you allow to see a child, particularly someone who's nonverbal autistic, particularly someone who struggles to communicate, particularly someone that is already struggling in school because they have a special educational need and they can't process the information, and then you can stand there and watch them being punched and kicked and having their face scratched out. I had a boy who had bite marks in his face and the front of his hair ripped out from his scalp, and the head teacher of that school said, well, he must have come to school like that. This is what parents are facing, and 10 minutes is not enough. Hopefully when this account gets higher, please like, share and follow. When this account gets higher, we'll be able to do some lives and actually have full conversations with some of our team of barristers and solicitors around actions and steps that parents can take, because it is disgraceful. And as I said back when I started the Black Child Agenda all those years ago, and again in 2019 and again in 2020 and so on and such like, it is only going to be getting worse. And so said, so done. It is literally getting worse. But my name is Cheryl Phoenix. I am the founder of the Black Child Agenda, unapologetically tackling the schools to prison pipeline. I'm out. Thank you for listening.